A movie starring Peter O'Toole and Faye Dunaway? That couldn't possibly be bad. Could it? SuperGirl the movie, starring Helen Slater and the aforementioned Peter O'Toole and Faye Dunaway. This movie has a whopping 7% critic rating on Rotten Tomatoes and a user rating of 29%, so just a little bit better, right? I fully admit this is not a good movie, but it is still one of my guilty movie pleasures that I enjoy. Why might you ask? Well, I'm glad you did, and I'm guessing that you've stuck around this long, you're going to stick with me for the entire video. Please? Please? So I loved Superman as a kid. If I wasn't watching Star Wars, I was watching Superman. And when this came out on VHS, I watched this over and over again, along with Superman and Star Wars and numerous other films, but this one definitely got in the rotation. While I never read comics as a kid, I still definitely loved my superheroes. In fact, I loved SuperGirl so much that I went out and bought it and special ordered it on DVD from a Sam Goody. You remember those? Anybody over 35 probably will. Anybody under 30 probably doesn't know what I'm talking about. They're DVD stores that were prominent in the 90s and the 2000s. Look, I even have a special edition DVD of Supergirl. Limited special edition. It is number 18,938 of 50,000. There's only 50,000 of these bad boys, and I've got one of them. Ain't I special? And yes, I just said ain't. Sue me. So in honor of the new SuperGirl television show that's starting this week, I decided to watch this and share my love for it on the internet. Since this movie was made in the 80s, and since it has a lowly 7% Rotten Tomato score, I am going to spoil the crap out of it. So if you want to watch this movie, pause now, come back later, and see what I said. But I'm going to spoil it. You've been warned. Not that you probably care, but you've been warned. To start off with, Kara Zor-El, aka Helen Slater, or Supergirl, is living in Argo City. It is the last Kryptonian city in this mysterious place called Inner Space. I remember when I was a kid, I didn't really understand this, and watching it again for the 100th time, I still don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And that's one of the problems with this movie. This script is terrible. It's bad writing. Now, I don't want to throw the writer under the bus, but yes, I want to hope that the studio meddled significantly with this movie, because the writing's not good at all. And the plot doesn't make a lot of sense, and it's very convoluted, and it's a mess. But I still unabashedly love it. I don't know why. It's still good to me. I think the writer tries to pass it off as everybody in this city is super smart. There's a classroom scene where they're expunging math numbers, and so everybody's brilliant in this Argo City. And it's kind of a way for the writer to say, well, see, audience, we don't really have to explain what inner space is or anything else, because you're not going to get it. But these people in the city, they get it. So Peter O'Toole's character, Zoltar, he's kind of an eccentric. He's kind of an artist living in this Argo City, and he's kind of bored living there. He wants to travel outside, keeps telling people he's going to go to Earth or Venus or Saturn. I don't know why the Kryptonians are so stuck in our solar system. There's a whole freaking galaxy out there. Go find something else to do. Anyway, during this time, an accident happens with the power source of the city, and it gets sucked out into inner space, and Kara, who it was kind of her fault that it got sucked out, decides to go hop in this spaceship kind of thing, sort of, and travel and go after it and find it. After this happens, Zoltar banishes himself to the Phantom Zone because he blames himself for the power source being lost. And without this power source, Argo City is going to dim and fail, and everybody's going to die. But Zoltar gets to live on in the Phantom Zone, even though it's miserable there, but he still gets to live. So Kara goes after the Omegahedron, the power source, whatever. That's what I'm going to call it, the power source. And magically, the power source lands on Earth, next to Selena, Faye Dunaway's character. She is a evil wannabe witch. She believes in black magic and wants to rule the world. And with this new lucky power source that she finds, hey, she's got a means to do that. Kara arrives soon after the Omegahedron power source, gets there and busts through out from inner space, and she's magically already in her Supergirl suit. and she starts searching for it. However, during the search for it, she decides to go to school. Yeah, doesn't really make sense. But hey, that's what she does. She enrolls in school and slowly begins her search for the power source to save her city, along with making new friends. Yay! So Selena, while Kara is slowly searching for the power source, starts to take over the world by using the power source's black magic. Sound silly? Extremely. Do I still like it? Yeah, I kind of do. One reason for this is Helen Slater. Helen Slater is fantastic in this role. She's really a bright spot. Her and Faye Dunaway are really two bright spots in the movie. Helen Slater plays Supergirl as kind of just this unabashed curiosity with the world that surrounds her. I mean, she's never seen any of this stuff on planet Earth before, so she's extremely curious and wide-eyed, but she's also a badass. As soon as she gets to Earth, some truckers get out of their truck and come up to her, and she's in her outfit, and they're kind of hitting on her, trying to, say, hey, honey, come with me. And she has none of it. She straight up kicks their ass, lets them know that she's not going to take it, and it's a really good scene in the movie. So she plays this wide-eyed wonder, but also this extremely powerful person, and she does it great. If they would have done more movies and had actually a better story, she would have been a great Supergirl for 3 or 4 movies. And I think that's one reason I kind of loved it as a kid, is because her performance as Supergirl. It's really good. So while Kara is looking for the Omegahedron power source, there's some set action pieces that happen during this course of her search that Faye Dunaway, Selena's character, is kind of throwing at her. And these set pieces, action pieces, are hysterical. They are really, really funny, just for the sheer fact that I don't know if I've ever seen a scene actually just set up for wanton destruction. I mean, there's just, cars line up perfectly to smash into it. There's a house right in the right angle for a bulldozer to crash into. A hay truck spills hay out, and while Supergirl flies past, the hay goes everywhere. I was cracking up watching it this time. It was just really comical of how everything was placed perfectly for action scene to take place. It's still enjoyable to watch, even though it's really bad, but hey, I still really liked it and laughed while I was watching it. And then we get to the third act of the movie, and that's when the movie really goes off the rails and off the deep end. Selena, with the help of her pseudo-boyfriend kind of dude, gets some kind of other magic wand that has some actual real magical powers, I guess, kind of, sort of. And with the help of the power source from Argo City, she creates this huge mountain with a castle on top of it, and then enlists thugs, I guess, and takes over the town and has plans to, take over America and Mexico and, by the week's end, have the world. Before this, though, she was able to banish Kara to the Phantom Zone. She tricks her, gets her, banishes her to the Phantom Zone. While there, Peter O'Toole shows her how to escape the Phantom Zone, but not before Peter O'Toole's character, Zaltar, tells her, no, it's impossible to escape the Phantom Zone. Well, there is one way, but no, it's impossible. Yet Supergirl escapes, so not impossible. See what I mean? Where the script is just story. So Kara escapes the Phantom Zone, and then there's a final fight between Selena and her. And it's really bad, but really funny. The special effects are really bad, especially even for this time period and even for this movie, because some of the other special effects in this movie are really good. Her flying is great. Some of the other effects in the movie are really good. The last scene, not so much. It's bad. But what makes it work is Helen Slater and Faye Dunaway. Faye Dunaway's character is so comical and so over the top, but Faye Dunaway buys into it. She sells it for all she's worth, and that just goes to show how much of a professional she is. It's that she really tried in this role. I don't know why, but she did. Can't say the same for Peter O'Toole. Was probably just out for a paycheck for this movie, and it kind of showed, but I can't really blame him with this script either. So there's that. What's sad is that this is my first introduction to Peter O'Toole. Instead, when I saw Lawrence of Arabia, I'm like, hey, it's Zaltar from Supergirl, not, hey, Peter O'Toole and Lawrence of Arabia. So that's kind of where I know Peter O'Toole from, is Supergirl. Oops. Another interesting tidbit about this movie is that it's actually a shared universe. This story takes place in the Christopher Reeves Superman universe. They actually make reference to it multiple times of, hey, he's my cousin. Somehow they know about Superman in Argo City, even though it's in inner space. Somehow they know that he's on Earth and know that his name's Clark Kent. That makes no sense whatsoever, but somehow they do. The actor that plays Jimmy Olsen in the Superman movies is actually in this movie. Eat that, Marvel fanboys. DC did it first. Whatever, I really don't care. But it is kind of interesting that this was an actual shared universe, and they could have maybe had a team up. Maybe they actually even planned that. I don't know. It would have been interesting. It probably would have been better than Superman 4. So with all that being said, this isn't a good movie and is not worth seeing. But if you're like me, you've got some nostalgic vibes for it, and you want to get ready for the new SuperGirl television show, which actually Helen Slater is going to be in the new television show. Rent it, buy it. I think you can still buy it on DVD on Amazon. It's not out on Blu-ray. Trust me, I've checked. And see it, and maybe it's worth watching if that's the case. But for everybody else, probably not worth watching. For me personally, it's worth watching. Alrighty, plug time. Give me a thumbs up if you like my video. Subscribe if you want to hear more of me talking. Share if you think other people will enjoy me talking. Let me know if you've ever seen Supergirl. Let me know what you think. Thanks for sticking with me up to this point. Bye.